What did you find out after a first date that was a deal breaker? 1. On the surface, he was a lawyer with an Ivy League degree. Then just one layer deep, he had 6 kids with 5 different women. One of his exes hated him so much she took their kids to Germany to get away from him. And the kicker? His youngest was 6 months old and he was sleeping on his ex's couch. 2. She was married. We met at a bar and left together. Went and had dinner, saw a movie and she spent the night. The next morning she says, "I wonder if my husband figured out I didn't come home." Then she asked me for a ride to work and I got a ticket because she didn't wear her seatbelt. 3. That he had restraining orders against him from not 1, but 2 exes. Also asked if he could move in with me on the first date. 4. Met up for drinks and she started telling me about how she thought I'd get along with her brother. After a couple of drinks, we end up at the bar where her brother worked. Hell of a guy. We kept playing hair metal on the jukebox and drinking beers. She went from saying I would get along with her brother to I remind her of her brother. The more she drank, the more she said it. We ended up making out and she started repeating the stuff about her brother. I made sure she got home safe, but it creeped me out so much that I never spoke to her again. 5. He told me that he couldn't wait to have kids with me, and that he had picked out our kids' names. When I told him that this was our first date and I wasn't sure about kids and that this was a super creepy thing to say to me, he insisted it was my duty as a woman and that it would make me very happy. There was no second date. 6. She had a date right after our date with her steady boyfriend. Not the next night, 5 minutes later. I had to drop her off at the next date. Why go out with me when you have a boyfriend? 7. Her other guy showed up in the middle of our date. She said, "Can I talk with him for a minute?" I said sure, then walked out the door and never looked back. 8. That my date would not cut his toenails, that he would grow them on purpose because he would prefer using his toenails to scratch his legs. 9. He was a really bad magician. Brought cards and everything, couldn't land a trick. I felt bad and took him up on a second date, but that was it. 10. He spilled his drink on his menu and slurped it off with his mouth.